What up? We out here. We're back. Sorry we missed a couple weeks. Dealing with some behind the scenes issues. But we're here. It's a nice cold, brisk December, afternoon now. Jack, good afternoon. How we feeling?
Good afternoon, man. I'm feeling like some college football today. I'm
I'm
not gonna
feeling some
lie.
college football. We got I don't know. We're Pennsylvanians, so Penn
We
State playing a
are
big game today.
Pennsylvanians.
Pretty big one. However, I do have them losing, so goes to show how much I care.
Well, you could root for them and still think that they're gonna lose. You
It's true.
know,
I just don't have hope.
I do not have too much confidence in Penn State playing up against a dirty, rugged Oregon football team. And we talked a little bit pre-show that I am looking forward to the Texas game as well. Not that Georgia is.
I think that'll be the more exciting game out of the two to watch today, I think.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, there is one live right now that I don't know how Arizona State is doing right now.
I think that's pretty good. I think they're they're like 15, 16 or 16, 17, something like that. It's a decent game.
Yeah.
However, we are not a college football podcast. Although, Sean, open invite still out there if you ever did want to come on. We are here to talk some NFL football. And I guess to start real quick, some things we didn't touch on the Tuesday show, some of the bigger headlines of the week, we'll say. Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair has been suspended 3 games for his hit on Trevor Lawrence. I know he's not happy about that. And I know the debate that has been going on is that a lot of people are trying to say that it was Trevor Lawrence's fault. He didn't slide quick enough, or he...
I think that's a little tough. I think that's a little bit of a tough call to say that it's Trevor's fault.
I see both sides. I mean, you see the guy trying to go down, you should let up a little bit, but also, and I forget who it was, but someone made a good point. Like, as the defender, you see the guy running for the first down. Your job is to, stop him from getting the first down. So, again, it's tough. You have to see like when he started to initiate the tackle and when he goes down, and you're a 250-pound guy to stop your momentum when you're already like going at him. Like, you're not going to be able to just contort yourself.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it shows how difficult it is to play defense, and not only in the NFL, but just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only do you have to cover a guy who you have no idea which way they're going to go, and they could break your ankles at a moment's notice, but now as soon as the quarterback starts to take off, that quarterback has a slew of rules in his favor. So if he decides to slide, you have to kind of respect that, and it's that tough read for the DB to kind of like, okay, do I want to rip this guy's head off, or is he about to slide right now? Because, and I have to look at the replay, but, Trevor was running and Azeez was running. So, you kind of got two objects in motion, you know what I'm saying?
You got to think. It's almost like, obviously it's not a car crash, but, you're driving your car, you're about to hit something, you hit the brakes, you're trying to stop, but are you going to stop in time? And that's just kind of what it is.
Yeah, if you're going 90 miles an hour, then all of a sudden you slam the brakes, you're still going to drift another 10 yards. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That play, we'll say, is a little questionable and up for interpretation. But you know what isn't? When you go over to Underdog Fantasy and use code promo GETRIGHT, so you get a 50% deposit match on your first $1,000. Promo code GETRIGHT, deposit match up to $2,000. And you know what else isn't questionable? And I can't stop raving about these things. We're talking about them all the time. Go over to Trophy Smack. Because what's better than winning your fantasy league if you can't showboat it? I don't know about you guys, but Jack and I locked ourselves into our playoffs, just kind of fighting for seeding here. But
I'm fighting, man.
I'm starting to figure out, what shirt to wear when I take the pictures of that ring on my finger. I'm ready, man.
Hey, now, you got to settle down, man. You got to settle
I am ready to have that ring on my finger.
This team of mine is about to be hot going into the playoffs. Okay, I suffered. Okay, I suffered through a Pacheco injury. Okay, and we came back 9-4. We had the James Conner trade. Okay, Josh Allen has been playing lights out. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jaden Reed putting up 0 this week though. What the hell is going on, Mr. Packer?
That's actually something I want to touch on. I don't know if we can do it today. We can talk about it Tuesday when we do the
I mean, we could.
show, but
I'm not opposed to double dipping the chip on Mr.
let's
Reed
just say
because
that.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of frustrated.
All right,
Okay.
while we're on the topic, so, and I've been asked this plenty times, and you've asked me, I've answered it, and the question was always, should Green Bay, go trade for a guy, go get a big name guy, go get a yada yada yada, and I always said no. Why stunt the growth of these young receivers we have? But my opinions on Christian Watson. Is he good? Yes, but he's not a number one. Dontavian Wicks, great route runner, but too much drops. He's not a number one. Romeo Doubs, arguably our best receiver. Is he good enough to be one? I don't know. The consistency's not there for me. And then the biggest game of the season so far, your number one, will say Romeo Doubs is the number one down. Jaden Reed probably your number one, depend. They're 1A, 1B, depending on the week. Biggest game of the year so far. Need a win. And what do? Nothing. You didn't even show up. You catch nothing. You do nothing. So
Jaden
I
had
am
targets.
circling back.
He just dropped the ball.
I am circling back. I think Green Bay, whether they sign a free agent's receiver, they go and trade for one, I think they need to bring someone in. Because we right now have a bunch of just 2s and 3s. We need a 1. And I think we lack a true number one receiver right now.
Yeah, and I don't think that you were wrong for saying that before. I mean, the level that guys like Jaden Reed and Dobbs and Watson early in his career were playing at made you quick to believe, and anyone quick to believe that, wow, why would we draft someone when we have guys out the wazoo? We could rely on Watson to take the top off of a defense and stretch the field. We could rely on a Jaden Reed to check down and turn flats to streaks, make some moves after the catch. We can rely on a Dontavian Wicks in the slot, just quick little routes. But now it's kind of, like you were saying, they're all sort of B+ players when you kind of really want that A+ or S tier where you could rely on to go to. Because I just mentioned Jaden Reed. It's not like Jordan didn't throw his way, because if I'm not correct, I think he threw his way twice and he had 2 drops. He had at least 1 drop that I witnessed.
Yeah, he did have a drop. Let me see.
And that's
let me see how many targets he has. I can pull it up quick.
But that's the problem too, because now you're Jordan Love and you think you have all these options, right? Then you go and you test out one of your 1As, like we said, and
he had 1 target and it was the drop.
Right. So now you're Jordan Love and you think that you have this slew of guys to throw to. You say, oh, okay, this play is designed to throw to the 1A, Jaden Reed. And what does he do? He drops it. Now, who knows? Maybe in the back of his head, now he's thinking, all right, well, maybe I got to get Wicks involved more. And then look, he had 60+ yards on the rest of the night.
Yeah. I mean, even looking at from last year, we were the youngest team to win a playoff game. And then pivot to this year, we're leading the league in dropped passes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, after last year, I was like, wow, the potential's through the roof with this team. We don't need to sign anyone. All these guys, should get better year 2, and they didn't. We have year 2, 3, and they just didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if it's not going and drafting someone super young in the draft like a T-Mac, not that you guys are going to be high enough to even get the Arizona wide receiver who looks sensational, but like you mentioned, maybe just a veteran presence in the locker room could be good for young guys like Dobbs and Reed and Watson, just to kind of hear him talk in the locker room and see what he might do differently, and just his energy of,
Mhm.
okay, let's try and up your game a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can't deny the potential of these guys, even though their skill set might be very niche, like a Watson or Wicks. But who knows? Maybe someone comes in and can kind of open some new routes. No pun intended. Some new
No,
routes.
no, and I know that's exactly what I'm hoping for. We just need it. Just I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just the year. Second. Second year struggles as some players have. But
I'm looking at whose contract is going to be up next year. You could get someone now. Obviously, character issues here. Stefan Diggs. Maybe you don't want him though, but you know who I really like, who's going to be a free agent after this year?
is Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
You even have a guy like D Hop if he doesn't want to sign with KC again and chase another ring. Like, you pick up a D Hop, like Chris Godwin. Amari Cooper. I'd be surprised if they don't sign him again in Buffalo with how he's
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't
playing.
be opposed to any of them. I also wouldn't be opposed to maybe packaging a Christian Watson and something for a receiver. It's just we need the true one because Reed clearly showed that he's not that yet. We'll say I'm not ready to write him off. He's just not ready to be the one yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't write him off. Obviously it's one bad game. He had the one drop. Who knows what he might have done if he had more targets, or if that drop turned something off in Jordan's head, or in LaFleur's head, or what have you. But I still respect Reed. I think we
Sure.
both think that he's a good player.
I mean,
It's just
granted,
gonna
yeah,
come
tough
down to,
matchup, and they
yeah.
didn't throw it a whole ton per se, but I don't know, man. I just didn't like what I saw. We do
Yeah.
have our first question here.
Oh, cool.
What's up, Mr. Magic? We have Darnold, Purdy, or Stafford. I love the Darnold matchup this week. So I would probably go Darnold, Purdy against the Bears. Tougher matchup in Stafford against the Bills. I'd probably go Darnold, Stafford, Purdy if I were to pick in that order.
Hmm. See, I am starting Purdy in my sleeper league. It sounds weird to lean Purdy in a matchup against a solid Bears defense, right? They're playing the Bears.
Mhm.
Um, CMC's out now, though. Jordan Mason
Yeah.
is out. So, where there might be a little bit more room for error, I don't think Purdy's typically been the guy to turn over the ball multiple times and make stupid mistakes like that. I think you're going to see a couple passing touchdowns from Purdy. I think, you know, yeah, they're going to try and get Isaac Guerrero, how do you pronounce the
Weirdo
last
or
name?
whatever. Yeah.
They're going to
Gorendo.
try and get Isaac involved, but who knows how much of a home run hit he's going to be. I think you're going to see some Purdy to Kittle connection going on, some Purdy to Debo. Debo's healthy right now, right?
Yeah. I
Like,
think, I mean,
you're going to see a lot of
no, I think Jawan Jennings has really been the number one. Debo is just kind of, I don't know.
well, now with C-Mac out, you might see Debo more in that running back spot.
Probably get a couple more carries out of Debo. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if I definitely raise Debo, whatever leagues you're in too. Um, yeah, I agree. Who Minnesota playing again this week?
They have Atlanta.
Yeah. If you probably go, Darnold's probably the safest out of those three.
Mhm.
But
That's what I'm thinking. I like Darnold there. All right, getting back to some things we missed during the week. We talked about the Aziz Al Shair game. The guy he put the hit on, Trevor Lawrence, has been put on
boom.
IR. He will be out rest of season. So, probably get a Jacksonville number 1 overall pick here. We'll see.
Who do you think they go in the draft? You think they take Travis Hunter?
Probably Travis Hunter. If they get the number 1 pick, that's probably who you go.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a trade down too. Maybe a team like the
I mean, I
Giants
can definitely
or-
see like New York trading up or, Las Vegas trading up, depending on where the actual picks end up falling. But I can see Jacksonville trading out of the 1 spot for sure.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the dream scenario. If you're a Jacksonville fan, you have the 1 pick and you're probably already going to take Travis Hunter anyway. So why not move down to 3 or 4 with someone like a New York or the Raiders, as you mentioned, and then possibly still have a chance to just draft Travis anyway and get a ton of collateral in return.
Get some more. Yeah, absolutely. No, I think so too.
You know, they
All
need
right,
corner.
got another one
Need
for us.
Oh, we got a
We
question.
have Keenan over Devontae Smith and D Hop. Yeah, probably. D Hop, Chiefs playing the Chargers. He's been all right since being there. He had that one game where he popped off for 2 touchdowns. Other than that one, he's been mediocrely quiet. I don't know what I'm saying. He's just been mediocre. Right. Outside of that game, he's been all right. Devontae Smith coming off an injury. He says he will play, but they're playing Carolina. How much are they going to throw the ball? We don't know. So Keenan's probably your best bet to score the most points out of the 3. So I
like Keenan or D Hop. You know, you got to.
Keenan's been hot the past couple weeks too.
Yeah, you had a really
do you have 2 touchdowns last week or just 1? But he has I think 4 over the past 3 games or something like that. So Keenan's been pretty hot.
Establishing a connection with Caleb, yeah. Sure. Yeah. I also do like D Hop against a tough Chargers defense where I think that they're gonna have to start slinging the rock around a little bit, you know.
Sure.
You know, is D Hop the number 1? Probably. You know, Kelsey's been getting a lot more involved the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, Pacheco another week back, which is, helps them out.
Keenan's also just a fun start after the Eberflus firing.
That too. I mean, he's been playing well lately, so I'd probably go Allen over the 2.
Or yeah, I like Allen.
All right, some more news we missed. Well, not missed, but maybe came in after we recorded. Jets running back Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, and CJ Mosley are all going to be out this week.
Wait, whoa, who?
Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, and CJ Mosley for the Jets are all out this week.
Oh my!
So if you have Breece Hall, get him out of your lineups. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Did we pick him this week?
The Jets. No, we picked Miami.
Okay. Oh yeah,
so if you see Braylon Allen sitting there on the waiver wire, he'll be a pretty good pickup this week.
Ooh,
go get him.
You know, Cody, you are speaking facts right now, man.
That's what we're here to do, Jacko.
That's what we're here to do, man.
Another quick one here. If the Cowboy season already hasn't been bad enough, guard Zach Martin will undergo season-ending surgery on his right ankle.
Saw that, yes.
This one we already talked about, and we all know McCaffrey, Jordan Mason have been put on IR. Devontae Smith, the man we just spoke about, says, count me in and will play Sunday. And I know a bit of old news as far as NFL time goes, but we didn't touch on this Tuesday. But Ravens have suspended wide receiver Deontay Johnson for a game after refusing to play. Lake Neighbors questionable. And Taysom Hill has been put on season-ending IR.
I didn't know Taysom. I knew Taysom was out. I didn't know it was for the rest of the season. That sucks.
Yep. And that's as far as news goes that I got for you today. Pivoting. Oh, shit. All right. I guess the point of these Saturday shows is we can start talking about bets, games, fantasy. I don't know. What are we going to talk about, Jack? We can talk about anything we want.
Gambling.
Like you said, it's a nice, brisk, chilly Saturday afternoon here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
I got the coffee candle lit. It smells like coffee in here. And
nice,
I'm ready to kick back and just talk about some football more.
Hell yeah, brother. We already discussed a little bit. Oh, excuse me. We already discussed a little bit our college football bets, even though we're not strictly or really a college football podcast. But you and I both agree that Texas and Oregon is probably a very safe bet, straight up. That's my lock of the day.
Yeah, I have Oregon and Texas too, but I have the over in the Texas Georgia game. I have the under in the Oregon Penn State game. for anyone that cares.
Don't hate it.
This man cares. Jake Snake, horns up. Yes, sir.
Horns up, brother. Let's go.
All right. I love the sign. Wait, you ready for this? You didn't even see the best part.
Oh,
Boom.
this is dope. Yeah. Dude, the studio is going to be phenomenal.
We're working on it. We're working
on it. It's work in
Rome
progress.
wasn't built in a day. The Sweet Life Studio wasn't built in a day either.
We're season 1. We're season 1 right now, so we're doing all right. We already got a sign at the end of season 1, dude. I mean, come on, dude. But no, I think Texas has got it in the bag. Their spread is -2.5. That's all they got to do is win by a field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I unless some like really weird stuff happens in this game, I don't understand how Texas isn't come away with a win. Not to, disrespect Georgia's name or nothing, but I mean, they were losing by teams like Ole Miss, a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago, and some people know how I feel.
Last week gave them a run for their money. I mean, not to say Georgia Tech's not a good program over there, but
yeah,
they like I said, got a run for their money last week. What was that, 8 overtimes or something? That was exciting.
Yeah, something like that. And then you got Penn State, who we already talked about a little bit pre-show, but
very bad against top 10 teams.
Very bad against top 10 teams, and not particularly great against not top 10 teams. Was it Minnesota that it came down to it was like a 3-point game or something at the end of it? Like they consistently played down, and as much as we talked about how we like their defense, they just haven't been able to play in big stages. Look at the Ohio State game. Even though their defense played okay, kept the overall score relatively low, as you mentioned, but are they going to be able to stand up against the big green Oregon Ducks?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Probably biggest Penn State fan I know in the comments here. Our boy Sean, Penn State can lose by 40. Yeah.
Yeah. I think even Sean is like,
the same thing. Joe, morning. Happy to have you in here. But yeah, I guess we can get into some, some picks, matchups, and stuff we like this week.
Well, I don't know if I should be so bold. I should also mention, upload schedule has been less than ideal these past couple of weeks. If anyone fans of the show noticed, last week's episode went up a little bit late this past week, and this week's episode is going to come out today. So, you'll hear us talk about Thursday Night Football and stuff. But for all the Sunday slate games and recent news and fun stuff like that and everything in between, that video is going to go up today in preparation for the games tomorrow. So, Sweet Life fans, you will have your podcast for today to listen to before tomorrow, and we are finally going to be back on track here.
Got a little backlogged, we had a press tour, autograph signing. We got a little caught up in things. That's all.
Got a little bit caught up in things,
just
also,
a little busy.
I don't know.
Also, 18 inches of snow and no power, and
there was a lot going on.
Santa Claus, chaotic up here.
Santa Claus is coming to town soon. Sweet Life is on the phone with the North
that
Pole.
Time of year.
We got a big order from Santa Claus of a bunch of T-shirts coming in soon.
It should be coming in soon.
Oh, Joe is a big
I don't know how much you saw, Joe, but we're all in on Oregon today.
We're buying in, man. That's the lock today, straight up. I mean, the spread's phenomenal too. I mean, -3. All you gotta do is win by over a field goal. I mean, Oregon could win by 14 plus today. So,
oh sure.
I
think that over under. I know we touched on it before, but just in case anyone's hopping in, that over under a 50.5, I think is just a tad high.
You think it's a little steep?
I think it's a little steep. However, the Texas Oregon one, they have it at the same over under, which I like that. I'll take the over there, but going around with Oregon.
Yeah, so the only on FanDuel they're also the same 50.5 to 50.5. The only reason why I'm scared of the Penn State Oregon over under, that over could hit if Oregon just starts to bend over Penn State and
Yeah,
spank them. I
I mean
could
it's
see
true,
it. I
very
could see
true.
it being like a runaway game where they have to put the back. Well, I don't know. To put the backups in, I don't know about that, but I could see it being a runaway type game.
Sure, but that's why it's called gambling.
Yeah, yeah, you never know. Penn State could go in there and make it a game. Who
Well,
knows?
I'm sure,
Who knows,
absolutely
man?
they could.
College football is just so unpredictable. It is.
Yeah, man, I don't
That's
think
why
anyone
it's fun.
saw the Georgia Tech going 8
Yeah,
overtimes.
yeah.
Yeah, just checking. I got a bunch of to take care before tonight's game. All right, Joe. Hey, go do your thing, man. We appreciate you even popping in.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
But as far as sports betting goes, I don't necessarily have a. I didn't really necessarily take any props because what I've been noticing, we do these, Saturday morning after early afternoon, and by the time the games come out tomorrow, the props are, skewed and different.
Yeah.
So instead of picking props, I kind of found matchups I like.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
and
I have a matchup as well already
depending
on
on
deck.
where the prop is tomorrow morning, which maybe this will incentivize people to go follow the Instagram, see the props we like. However, I think the
There you go.
first one I really like this week is Calvin Ridley
Mm.
going against Jacksonville.
Calvin.
Jacksonville's got the 32nd ranked pass defense, and Ridley's averaging 83 yards a game since Hopkins' trade. So if they have Ridley's line, maybe, high 60s to 70s, receiving line, I'd probably take that over, Say it's sitting at like 74.5. I'll take that over. I like that.
Yeah, sorry, I was just pulling it up on here. They don't
Like I
have
said, I don't have the lines pulled
specific
up. I could
lines.
probably get it pulled up here.
They got alternates though. So I could tell you that if you want Calvin Ridley 60 plus, it's minus 148. So
Let's
that's not
see.
particularly horrible.
Calkins has his over
I think that he's gonna have
under.
Vegas thinks he's gonna
Oh,
have a big game.
67.5. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take it
Vegas
over.
thinks he's gonna have a big, and not it's not a big game, a very solid game. So, which you're going up against Jacksonville,
Yeah, so
kind of a
67.5. And if we pull them up quick, Calvin Ridley. I mean, he's missed that. I mean, he's hit that 4 out of the last 6, and the matchup's great. So
matchup is great. You do have Mac
yeah, I like
Jones
that.
throwing the ball to you, or no, he's on the wait.
Yeah, he's on
Didn't,
he's on Tennessee.
didn't Calvin used to
He was
be?
on Jacksonville last year. Yeah.
Oh, so it's the it's the Calvin Ridley game. Then yeah, he's gonna go off, man. He's got to go off. Throw a touchdown in there too, and just go crazy.
Absolutely. So that's probably that's a matchup I love this week.
Yeah, I do. I love that matchup. That's what I was gonna. Perfect time to kind of pivot over. A little sneak peek at the episode this week. That was a little bar, by the way. Sneak peek of the episode this week. If you're a fan of the show, you know that Cody and I have our Survivor going on, and our Survivor picks this week. I don't know if I can disclose this information before the show drops, but if you're here, you get the sneaky link, you get the sneaky info. Cody picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Raiders, and I locked in the Tennessee Titans against the aforementioned Jacksonville Jaguars. If you parlay those two money lines just straight up, Titans, Bucks, the odds are about plus 100, which is kind of insane to me for two home teams that are playing very, very, as you say, underwhelming,
decent football.
bad. Well, decent football, but dog water teams, for lack of a better,
the opponents, yeah.
lack of a better word. Yeah, you bet 10, you win 10. And I mean, Tampa Bay, they're looking for another win against the Raiders team with Aiden O'Connell now, and Titans against Mac Jones, who kept it a little bit scary close against the divisional Texans the other week, but I like the Titans. I like the
Yeah,
Titans, and I like Tampa Bay a
I
lot.
mean, I think we have them in our pick'ems as well.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, they are parlayed together. They are plus 109. So it's really, you get a little bit more than your money back on top of it, which is a pretty solid bet. I already have that locked in, and that's probably going to be my lock for the week on the gram this week for Jacko's lock. I'm not going to lie.
So the Jimmies
keep an
for
eye
the
on
week
that.
will be formulated probably sometime
Tomorrow, early tomorrow.
Thursday. Jimmies went 3 for 6.
You're going to have your.
I picked the wrong Green Bay receiver to have a good game. I was high in Reed, low on Watson.
Yeah, I was thinking about that during the
winning
game.
What are you gonna do? What was the other one I missed? I know the Watson under missed. The Reed.
I just remember the Reed.
Missed. There's one more that missed, but I don't remember. I forget.
I mean, he should have been on Josh Jacobs to have 4
dude, I felt so good, dude. I put that bet in, and then I had Montgomery anytime touchdown score. He scores a touchdown first drive. I'm like, oh, here we go. I was like, I felt so good.
Yep.
I was like, it's in. I was like, this is it. Here we go.
This is it.
What was that last one that didn't hit? No, I'm curious. I forget.
I'm not sure. I have not put a Sweet Life lock in a couple of weeks either, so I think I'm due for a fat dub on the Sweet Life Instagram lock. So I'm feeling very confident this week. Very confident. I'm gonna have to take a look at some other lines.
I had Amon-Ra 60+ yards that missed.
Yeah, Amon-Ra, quiet game.
Fell a little short, yeah.
Didn't really get any touches until the fourth quarter either, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys really want to, see me go off about that game, watch next week's show because I have a, little
steaming pile of dog crap to pile
I'm going to try and keep myself calm today.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how much you want to go into it today, but
we won't. It's Saturday. It's a weekend. We'll have a good day.
Okay.
No reason to have a bad day on a nice Saturday, sunny Saturday, although cold. Reason.
I'll save my thoughts on going for it on fourth down at the end of the game for Tuesday.
See, that's not even like a gripe of mine. Like, I'm not even upset at that point. That's just a Dan Campbell thing. Like, that's to be expected. There were just a couple, we'll say, missed calls.
Oh boy, here we go.
A couple missed calls that, like we said, we're not going to get into it. We'll talk about it Tuesday. Okay. All right, Jake is asking.
Tuesdays for the Packer fans.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk Tuesday. Everyone will see it Wednesday, Thursday, whenever.
Snake just wants to hear us talk about Josh Allen. That's why.
Yeah, that's why he's asking. I mean, it's Josh Allen. I mean, it's the same as everyone other shows saying. I mean, I don't really have a hot take here. It's Josh Allen, Lamar, Saquon. That's probably your top 3. Jared Goff. I mean, pick one of the 4, throw them in a hat, take it out.
Although, I think it's interesting. Everyone likes to talk about Josh Allen. Okay, Saquon, obviously.
Oh, you guys are going to see the Philadelphia Eagles side of Jack come out right here.
Well, not necessarily. And if I was a betting man, which I am, I probably would take Josh Allen to win the MVP. I think it just makes the most sense, in terms of how much help he has on his team. He doesn't really have any star players other than maybe Amari Cooper, who seems to be heating up a little bit. You got to love
solid. I mean, he's not like a superstar, but
right. Yeah, no, definitely not taken away from young James in the backfield there. He's played pretty well. I think he's a top 15 fantasy running back right now too, which is pretty awesome. But Josh Allen, let's take a look at Josh Allen. He's got 20 touchdowns on the year so far. That's passing. Rushing, he's got 3. Looks like, or at least that's recent games. So Might be a little bit more than that, but total about around 23 touchdowns on the year. He's got over 2,600 passing yards, 74.7 QBR, and 64.6 completion percentage. So you got to put some respect on the man's name.
Sure.
It's not like he's on a team like the 49ers where you got Debo, you got Kittle, you got, you know what I mean? You got all these names, you got all these guys to throw to. But
I mean, you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon.
Right. And I'm not trying to make a case for Jalen here. But I think it is interesting when you factor in the rushing touchdowns. I mean, rushing touchdowns, Jalen has 3, 4, 5 on top of his 14 passing touchdowns. That still puts him about 19, which is right next to Josh Allen.
Oh my God. I
don't know.
I sneeze.
If I was a betting man, I think you got to give the number one right now is Josh Allen. It has to be Josh Allen.
Sure.
Saquon
may I just say, I don't know if that Hurts necessarily wins it, but could I say it's preposterous that he has worse odds to win it than Patrick Mahomes?
Yes, you can say that.
I think that's
children in the back.
I think that is. I mean, I would probably give it. I mean, it's hard to say give it to him over Goff, though.
No,
Goff. At least ahead of Mahomes. How Mahomes is still fifth is beyond me.
Yeah, let me see here. Jared Goff, who I just don't think is getting enough love.
Right now. Who I don't think's getting enough love, and I think it's because of team record? Joe Burrow. He leads in yards and passing touchdowns, and he is currently 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13th best odds for MVP. I know his team is, whatever the record is. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but as far as stats and value, I mean, Burrow's right up there with all the names we just said.
Yeah. Jared Goff, 25 passing touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. I mean, I guess you want to see that come back a little bit, but he's tied for third right now with the amount of passing touchdowns he has. He's also tied for third with passing yards with a little over 3,200. And he is just outside the top 10, ranked 11th in QBR. So, plus he's winning, which isn't important.
I mean, that's the biggest thing when, the people voting for MVP, winner, they're going to take your team record into consideration. Burrow won't win just because the team record. Although statistically he is right around all those, Goff, Allen, Hurts.
Yeah, Joe Burrow right now leading the league in passing touchdowns. Oh my God, Joe Burrow. Man, Joe should probably win MVP.
I think he only has 5 interceptions or something?
He is. He has 5 interceptions to 30 passing touchdowns. Yeah. He's also the third highest ranked QBR rating, which take that for what you will. And he's leading the league with over 3,330 passing yards.
Leads league in yards, touchdowns, third in QBR, and he's 13th best odds right now.
He's doing absolutely everything he can to try and win games, and his defense just keeps letting him down, man. I mean,
if we want to talk about it, you hear the word most valuable player. The word is value. I mean, if you take Burrow out of Cincinnati, does Cincinnati win a game this year? Probably not. Maybe 1, maybe 2 if they're dependent.
Well, they're only winning because they're able to kind of keep up a little bit with their opponents and score a ton of points. So, yeah.
I mean, granted, you take any of these guys off their teams and they're not winning the games they're winning, but
it's also not like they're
I feel bad for that Joey B over there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's tough. I think we got to keep showing a little bit more love to Joe, And we were a show that at the beginning of the year was questioning Joe
We
Burrow.
were.
Is he still good? Does he still have the gas in the tank? And he has been unfortunately riddled with injuries in his past that have kept him off the field and kept doubt alive since his Super Bowl run not too long ago. I think people forget that too. He was just in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He literally was just in the Super Bowl, 3 years ago? So, it's just tough. His organization has got to help him out. Otherwise, he is going to become just
Yeah,
another
I mean, if I'm
toolbox like we
Cincinnati,
talked about.
I don't think I spend a single draft pick, maybe get an offensive line or something. I said about Green Bay last year, you just draft defense. Just draft defense.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Hey, you just got to go defense, man. I mean, I don't know where else you go if you're the Bengals. Let's see what Bengals projected draft pick.
Because I mean, you really don't need. I mean, it's a top 10 pick at this point. And the way they're going, they could get a top. Well, maybe not top 5, but I mean, they're guaranteed a top 10 pick.
Yeah. Oh, this is wild. Some loon.
Well, I don't want to say guaranteed, but it's almost surefire.
Yeah. No, you gotta play complementary football. And that goes to show how much football is a team sport, because you could have the best statistical quarterback in the league in Joe Burrow. The best, bar none. And you look at their record, they have 4 wins. And it's what, week 13, 14, 13?
Week 14.
Yeah. That's atrocious. They're out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. There's no chance.
So, especially in that tough division, I mean, it's just, I hate to say it's over. It's Joe Burr. It's Joe Burr.
That lady ain't singing yet. She's warming up the vocal cords.
Was it? Oh, the fat lady is warming up the vocal cords. 1,000%.
Right. Little tangent there. We can move on. Drop Waddle to pick up Charbonnet. Probably not. I mean, depending if you really need a running back, maybe. But I'd probably hang tight.
If you really need an RB and it's a regular redraft league, I'd probably do it. I never loved Waddle at the beginning of the year. I drafted him in a redraft league because I felt like I was forced to, and he was incredibly underwhelming even before the Tua injury. I ended up trading him for who was the wide receiver on the Saints? Shaheed, who got injured. But even since Tua's come back, Waddle, I don't know what happened to him, man. He's a shell of his former self. I don't know if there's something going on at home. Someone's got to check on Jalen Waddle. But Zach Charbonnet, sharing carries with one of the better running backs in the league when he's healthy, and Kenneth Walker. And Kenneth Walker, I think, has been in and out of being questionable the past couple weeks.
I was going to say, I think Walker's questionable this week. If Walker doesn't play, you're scooping up Charbonnet. I mean, if you can expend Waddle, like if you have, good receivers still after dropping him, and
you're betting on Charbonnet to be the number 1 in Seattle, or at least have a expanded role with a questionable Kenneth. So I like the Charbonnet pick personally. I would do it. I'd pull the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, why not? If you need the running back, sure.
Pull the trigger, man.
Pull the trigger. Before we get into more questions, I guess we can move on to next matchup I like here. And it's a man who last couple weeks hasn't been playing very good. Kirk Cousins. And the reason I like this is because Vikings allow the 4th most passing yards in the league. And the sports books, just going off recent performance, will probably give you a little discount on his yardage. So we're going to take a look at his yards here. If his yards are something around, say 220-esque, I'll take that over. And DraftKings, 244.5. Okay, so that's still a little high for me. So maybe I don't touch it. But the matchup is good.
Dude, it's the revenge game. It's Kirko going
And
back
it is a
home
revenge game,
and
which could
saying,
go one of two ways. He either goes off or he plays like shit.
I think he goes off. And it's making me wonder who we picked this week. But I think that we did pick Falcons.
I think
Can't
we did
remember.
too. I think we
I have
did.
it. I have it locked in here. Let me
I
pull it
believe
up.
we did.
But I like the idea of Kirk saying, all right, Minnesota, let's go.
Yeah, so
Let's
maybe
take
the
a
Kirk one, don't take the 244.5. Maybe take it all at like 220.
yeah,
I would do some of that action.
yeah. Let's see who we picked. We did pick the Falcons, which I love now, and they're an underdog. Ooh, excuse me, little burp action. I'm just getting excited about Kirk. We did pick the
Coach
underdog
Cassidy.
Falcons on the dude. I love that. That
Ooh,
keep your eyes out for a possible lock on the gram for that. Maybe I swap out my former
Atlanta
lock
over
we talked about
Minnesota.
for something to do with that Falcons game because I like you gotta love Kirk. He's had a sort of a down year this year, but he's one of those weird players where Kirk will, you know, be the most mid quarterback for 4 weeks straight. And then on a random Sunday at 4 o'clock when no one's looking, he'll drop 4 touchdowns, over 350, no interceptions, just like a perfect game. You know what I mean? And just
Oh
go off.
yeah, we were talking about that on the show. Like he'll go have a dud game next week. He's throwing for 400 yards.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he becomes a top 10 fantasy quarterback like overnight. And it's like, what just happened? You know what I mean? So I like
Yeah,
Kirk.
so I don't know. Maybe
I like rooting
Vegas.
for Kirk this
Maybe
week, dude.
Vegas has the same thought process I have here on this one. The 244.5.
Well,
Maybe a little high. Maybe do an all 225 or something.
Vegas also thinks that they're going to lose. So
It's true.
there is that. But what
All
does
right.
Vegas know? What does Vegas
All in
really
one
know?
show. We'll circle back to his question. Thanks for being here, by the way. I'm stacked at RBs and receivers, but I want to pick up just to hold and not let one of the mix get them. Yeah. I mean, hey, sometimes the best offense is defense.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus,
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, if Waddle's just going to sit on your bench, you're not going to use him. Like I said, play the defense. I like it. Play chess when they're playing checkers.
Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely, go right ahead. All right, we have
Charbonnet. Plus Charbonnet's
we have
just going in.
Saquon 3+ touchdowns and 100 yards is a lock.
David.
3+ tough. 100 yards, I think, is a lock. I think they have his line at like 113.5 or something.
3+ tutties.
I would take him maybe a two touchdown score.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. As long as
they're playing Carolina. It's the worst rush defense in the league.
As long as they don't give it to
They have
Jalen.
Saquon. It's 111.5. They have his line at, which, it's crazy thinking over 100, betting line. But if anyone could do it, it's
Saquon.
I'm just curious. If we took Saquon 100 rushing yards, Saquon 100 rushing yards, and put him as a 2 touchdown score. It's pretty good odds. Plus 274.
Right. I think it's also interesting to mention too, speaking about the touchdowns, and we sort of briefly talked about this on the show, but Saquon right now has 11 touchdowns on the year, which is like already great. That's tied for 4th place for in the NFL. 11 rushing touchdowns. He's leading the league in rushing yards with just a yard under 1,500. He's leading the league in carries with 246, and he averages a little over 6 yards a carry. I mean, he's playing lights out. But now imagine, okay, he has 11 touchdowns, which is already tied for 4th. That's just outside top 3 in the league. Imagine if he wasn't on Philly, which would break my heart. I don't even want to want to pretend to imagine that, but pretend that he's not. And he doesn't have Jalen Hurts stealing goal line touchdowns from him. Jalen Hurts right now has 12 rushing touchdowns on the year. If you give all those to Saquon, that is like got to be historic. 23,
sure. But just to play a quick devil's advocate.
23 touchdown. Not all of those are at the goal line. Jalen has some where he
Sure.
makes it from the 10-yard line and breaks away or what have you. And all the love to Jalen. I want Jalen to keep getting rushing touchdowns. I don't, I'm not saying you gotta, give charity away to Saquon. Oh, Jalen's got to give his touchdowns to Saquon. But just in terms of like Saquon's production, it really could be even better than what it looks, which it already looks phenomenal.
But to just play a devil's advocate, do we think he has as good of season if he's not in Philly?
Cody, why do you got to be a devil, bro?
I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, I get what you're saying. And yeah, I mean, but also, say he stayed in New York or something.
Oh, well, obviously, yeah. Just the fact that he's been able to benefit from complementary football, which we sort of talked about when we mentioned the Bengals earlier. The Bengals right now are playing the exact opposite of complementary football.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the offense complimenting themselves over and over the whole game. Joe, bro, I love your eyebrows, bro. And the Chase Brown's like, yeah, I love your hair. And then the defense is just like, what do I get? What's going on with me? It's nothing. The entire game, it's all offense. The Eagles not only have been able to complement offense and defense, but their offensive parts as a whole have been able to complement each other. Oh, okay, we're struggling running the ball. Let Jalen make a read and chuck it up to A.J. Brown or scramble the ball himself and take off for 7 yards. And then, okay, now we get to rush the ball again. Saquon has been able to open so many different veins for Philly because Philly has been able to open so many veins for Saquon with a great offensive line, great wide receivers. Jalen Hurts has been protecting the ball since week 2. Thank God. I think that it was kind of just a match made in heaven. You look at running backs that are leading the league at the end of the year. 90% of the time, they are running backs that are on good teams. Running backs on bad teams, don't usually perform that well because good teams can pass the ball. They can manage the game. They can complement offense and defense. They control the game and they're allowed to run the ball. Running the ball is almost a privilege in the NFL because you don't have to do it. You don't have to worry about anything. Just give it to your guy and he'll take off for, almost 7 yards.
Yeah.
If Saquon's on New York, he doesn't have the same type of year. Absolutely not.
If we're talking fantasy perspective and for any of you guys out in Dynasty leagues, Tyrone Tracy I like a lot. So if you go get yourself some Tyrone Tracy, I think he'll have a good season, next year with the, better quarterback under center and hopefully better just team.
It feels almost sacrilegious, though, talking about Tyrone Tracy and Saquon Barkley in the same conversation.
No, I know. I was just saying, like, as a quick little.
No, I know. Just in general, Tyrone has been performing pretty good for the Giants.
Yeah. I know we were talking about favorable matchups. Saquon was on my list of top matchups. My next guy I like matchup-wise here, it's been a dog all year. And, when people talk about offensive rookie of the year, they're not really saying his name, but Brock Bowers. Love the matchup. Going against the Bucs. The Bucs, I believe, third most yards to tight ends. So depending, if his line's at like 60.5 or something, I'll take the over. Even 65.5, I'm okay with taking that over too. I think he'll have a good game this week.
I think he's also
Raiders, most of the year, probably find themselves playing from behind, having to throw the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. His line is at 72.5. I still kind of like that.
Brock Bowers also right now, just a quick fun little fact. He is 3 receptions away from breaking Sam Laporta's rookie year record for catches by a tight end, which is 86. So he's going to break that
He's going to
record.
smash that, yeah.
He's going to break that record. He's putting up historic numbers, and you got to give respect to Brock. I just think he almost gets kicked under the carpet because everyone looks at the quarterbacks. You look at Bo Nix and Jane Daniels, and it's hard. I think Brock could certainly still win. I like that as like a dark horse winner. I wonder what his odds would be looking like on something like a FanDuel.
He is the third best on DraftKings, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was like plus 1,000 or 1,200 or something.
Season awards. Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. Whoa, who's in 4th place?
Caleb Williams. At least on DraftKings.
On FanDuel. Okay, so they have the same odds. They're the same odds. This player has the same odds to win as Caleb Williams. Tied for 3rd and 4th place. Bucky Irving.
I love me some Bucky Irving. That was my next name on favorable matchups. He's questionable, might not play, but if he plays, fire him up.
It's funny. I think just because the level of play that he's been playing at, and I don't know if I just like confuse him with Rachaad White when I see him on TV sometimes. It doesn't even feel like he's a rookie. Like, I know he just got drafted and he was Bo Nix running back at Oregon, and they obviously got drafted in the same year this past draft class, but like for whatever reason I see him in my lineup and I don't look at him as a rookie because I just know how consistent he is. I look at him as like a Christian Kirk type, maybe not this year obviously, but like just like a Christian Kirk of years past type of player where like, oh yeah, like he's always going to be good. Yeah, just put him in, just lock him in. He's always going to be an okay start. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had a monster game last week.
Yeah.
And I'm praying he plays. I got him starting on a couple lineups this week, and praying he plays. Didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday. Limited practice Friday. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, I like Bucky. He's plus 5,000 right now to win offensive rookie year, though. $10 wins you 500. It's going to be a tough race with Brock Bowers. I think Brock Bowers could make a push if Bo, Jaden start to fall off for whatever reason at the end of the year. Brock breaks that rookie reception record formerly held by, well, currently he hasn't broken it yet. Currently held by Mr. Sam Laporta. Why would he not be at least in the conversation?
Sure.
Come awards night of, hey, like, I know Bo Nix is pretty good, but like, look at Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I think it just goes to me. I mean, I know Laporta just broke that record last year, but to me, it's like Daniels and Nix. Not to take away from the seasons they're having great seasons. But we see rookie quarterbacks have seasons like this. You know what I mean? Like to see a tight end, like I said, we saw one last year have a great rookie year. But I see a tight end in their rookie season have a season like this is far and few between. It's not as often we see that as we do a quarterback have a season like Daniels and Nix.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it's.
I think it's just cool to. I think it'd be cool if we. They gave the Bowers over.
It'd be pretty cool. It's much more of a unicorn.
Daniels was on a little historical run early on, but he kind of slowed down.
Tapered off a little bit.
Starting to heat up again, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun race.
We go to another match. We have Drop Kincaid again. Thanks for the other question. Drop Kincaid for Ertz. I have Daniels. I don't hate it.
You double down. I like the double dip. Kincaid has been.
Ertz has been, pretty productive this year. Pretty solid.
Been very underwhelming. I was forced to drop Kincaid in a sleeper league because I had him on IR. He's also coming off IR.
I don't hate it. Why not?
Yeah, I would pull the trigger.
Sure.
As someone who just dropped him in a sleeper league this past week, you know how if you have someone on IR, you can't like make any moves of
Moves
players
until
once
they
they
drop them.
come off IR. So they're just sitting in that spot. You're illegally hiding a player, like
Can't do nothing.
the beginning of Inglorious Bastards. You're just like hiding people under your floorboards, sleepers knocking on your door. Well, what do you got in there? And I was looking at my team, and you tell me if I was wrong, Cody, for dropping Kincaid in this league.
Let's hear it.
I was forced to drop Mr. Kincaid. I have Kyler Murray, David Montgomery,
Okay.
Kenneth Walker,
All right.
Jaden Reed, who this was
Mm.
before the 0 game.
Yeah, he's still not a guy you're dropping though.
Yeah, he's not my guy you're dropping.
Well, I don't know. I think he has like 73 yards the past 4 games or something. The dude's just not playing well.
It's been rough.
Yeah.
But Jaden Reed, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tucker Kraft, who you can't just drop Tucker Kraft.
Can't cut the tuck.
Bucky Irving, Vlad McConkey. And then on my bench, I have Bo Nix, Chuba Hubbard, Isaiah Pacheco, Nick Westbrook-Akine, and Nico Collins. Dalton Kincaid is not better than any of those. I think any of those players other than
probably the guy you drop. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could argue, is Nick Westbrook-Akine going to continue to be a touchdown machine for the Titans? But I like the upside for that over the ranked 23rd tight end in fantasy right now. Like,
I mean, it's to the point where you have a better chance of Akine keeping this up and giving you that high ceiling.
Upside. Yeah.
Where, week 14, we're going to week 14 of the season. We know what Kincaid's getting you.
Yeah, and it's funny.
This is just who Kincaid is at this point in this season. Maybe he has the breakout season starts next year. But as far as this year goes, what you've seen out of Kincaid is what you're going to get the next 3 weeks in your fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, Josh Allen has not loved going to Kincaid.
Especially
he is the ranked 24 tight end in fantasy right now. He's questionable too, coming off an injury. So who's to say he doesn't start, nagging something? It was a knee injury, so not very.
He missed last week too.
Great
so
there.
Even knows. And you got to think. So they play the Rams, Detroit, New England, Jets, New England. I mean, it's not a bad end of your schedule. I mean, Detroit's tough matchup. New York would be a tough matchup. You play New England twice, but you're also probably not going to throw the ball that much those games.
Yeah. What I think is surprising is that Zach Ertz is on waivers in your league, Mr. Magic.
That's true too.
I'm surprised. So yeah, absolutely. Before someone snags him, go and do that.
I would go get him. Yeah, I mean, I like Ertz. I mean, even the play schedule game here, Ertz end of year schedule.
Zach Ertz is the number 8 tight end
by this week, but then you go Saints, Philly, Atlanta, Dallas. So outside of Philly, who you're going to have to throw the ball a lot, Ertz will probably get targets and catches there. I mean, much better end of season schedule.
Yeah,
for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the number 8 ranked tight end in fantasy right now. I mean, he averages like 15 points a game. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. And since I dropped Dalton Kincaid at the end of last week, no one's even picked him off waivers in my league because everyone knows that he's been underwhelming. So I would go right now. Run, Mr. Magic.
Oh, speaking of tight ends, I actually got this news right. I think as we start another tight end, Dallas Goedert placed on IR. Will miss the rest of the regular season. So yeah, I mean, I would go get Ertz.
Go get Ertz, man.
Maybe not. Don't drop Kincaid. Maybe you have a different option you can drop. That way, you still have, unless you already have a second tight end. But I mean, just face value Kincaid for Ertz. Yeah, drop Kincaid for Ertz.
But at that point, too, why do you need the second tight end if Kincaid is just going to be like?
Well, because my thing is a guy like Kincaid. Like I streamed my tight end in our league, well, I'll just use our league for example. I streamed my tight end for the first however many weeks, and granted, I was in a unique situation because I had Mark Andrews, the very underwhelming first half of the season he had. So I ended up getting Tucker Kraft before he really, started
popping off,
we'll say. But I'm still not going to drop either of them. You know what I mean? I like to have them because, say something happens to Kraft or something happens to Andrews, why keep – I mean, we're in a 14-man league, so our waiver's already dry. Why keep a receiver or running back or someone I'm not going to use over Kraft or Andrews, who I may use? You know what I mean? Because I would hate to have just Andrews, right? And hypothetically speaking, or just Kraft, and hypothetically speaking, like, bye week or injury or something like that. And then I have to go to our waiver wires and the best tight ends like AJ Barner or something.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The only difference with Mr. Magic, though, is that he doesn't have the potential top tight end like a Mark Andrews or Tucker Kraft. He has the number 4 tight end in the league in Kincaid, where let's say that you go and you drop Kincaid for Ertz, right? And that's the only tight end that you have. You have Ertz, and that's your guy, and you plug him in every week. They might have already.
Ertz is on bye this week, is what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I did not know that.
So, like, you can drop Kincaid for Ertz, but then, like, you need Kincaid this week,
right? Just for this week. Yeah. Okay, I hear that then. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. I thought you were just talking about in general, like, oh, you should.
But I mean, even still in general, I'd rather have even here, like, say I rather have Kincaid and Ertz than Ertz, and I'm just going to throw out a random name like I don't even know off the top of my head. Think of like a Ricky Pearsall on my bench, who I'll probably never use. Like, I'd rather have that security blanket, having that extra tight end, than a receiver who I will probably never use.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree to disagree there, only because only because that's.
And I never used to do this. I always rostered one tight end all the time. Yeah, but I think this year it changed me because of Mark Andrews. So Mark Andrews, thank you. You have changed my mindset forever.
Yeah, well, Mark Andrews definitely has the higher ceiling than a Kincaid has unfortunately shown. The only reason why I look at it a little bit differently this year and for this situation with Kincaid is that if you were to go and, let's say, barring the bye week, you go and pick up Zach Ertz and drop Kincaid. If, God forbid, something does happen to Zach Ertz, not only will you probably be able to go and pick up Kincaid again off of waivers, but even if he's
a guy like Kincaid sits on waivers that long,
even if he's not, the options on waivers are going to be very marginally different than what Kincaid is going to give you at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, maybe who's like a random tight end on waivers right now, like a Chigakonkwo or something.
Yeah.
Like, let me just, for shits and giggles, look at tight ends right now. Yeah, Jawan, that's Noah Gray. You know what I mean?
Gray's been playing very good. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like the random tight ends are going to be comparable.
But Noah Gray's a guy you're like praying he has a good game.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 touchdowns the other week.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns 2 weeks straight.
Noah Gray. Okay, that's the guy you're praying he has a good game, right? He's still ranked.
I mean, you're praying Kincaid has a good game. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, he's still ranked 4 spots ahead in fantasy over Kincaid. So it's just like,
yeah, that's because
I'm not trying to
games, though.
I'm not trying to trauma dump on Kincaid here. I'm not trying to ruin Kincaid's day.
Using our league, for example, I'd rather have the security blanket of a Kincaid on my bench than have to go pick up Foster Moreau or Noah Font or Tyler Conklin.
Agree to disagree, brother.
And that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
That's fantasy football.
Maybe if it's a keeper league or Dynasty League, maybe a little bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe you
Right
stash
now,
Kincaid.
we're going to go back to the original question. Drop Ertz for We're not going to get too deep into it anymore. Face value, drop Kincaid for Ertz. Yes.
Yes.
And we have Shades 721. Thanks for being here. Purdy or Tua. I'm Tua here. The Jets will be without CJ Mosley and Sauce Gardner. Purdy, tough matchup. Don't like it that much this week. So I'll go Tua. And then we have Judy, Waddle, or Devontae Smith in standard.
Got to go Judy.
That's tough. Tough matchup for Judy, though. I think the Steelers, I saw some of the Steelers have only allowed, what was it? I don't remember off the top of my head. So to not sound like a fool, I'll just say I don't remember. Standard. So you're not really considering catches. You're hoping for yards and touchdowns.
Waddle's not bad, but I can never bring myself to start Waddle in a league. I already told you my thoughts on Waddle this season. I'd probably go Tua and Judy. After the game that Judy had, he might be establishing some sort of connection with the jump ball man, Jameis Winston.
Sure. Cedric Tillman is going to miss another week. So, that opens up more targets for Judy. I'm not crazy about the matchup. Although Burrow just exploded on them last week, but that's Burrow.
No did
Waddle, like I said, no Sauce Gardner. That defense is pretty banged up for New York. Devontae Smith has the best matchup of the three, but coming off injury, what do we see there? Also, honestly, if I have to gamble and bet on a touchdown score, I might take Devontae Smith there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just see the Eagles
being able to Waddle, if you're a guy who likes to have the stack there, I know people like to play the stack. You can go to a Waddle, but I might go to a Devontae Smith.
I would probably lean to a Judy, but I don't hate Smith.
Yeah, Judy's not. I don't think it's. I'm not like Smith is the easy pick. It's all.
All these
for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all three guys are
standard league. I'm praying on a touchdown, and I think Smith has the best chance of getting that for me.
Sure.
That's just
fair enough.
Hope that helps. To be fair, I only prepared one more, matchup I like.
That's all right, brother.
I love Tyreek Hill this week. Talking about the other Dolphin receiver. I love Tyreek Hill this week, and I love him even more now that Sauce Gardner is not playing. I think Tyreek Hill will have a big game. I'm not sure if I want to bet him as a touchdown scorer or on his yards. They probably have his yards, I would assume, probably high 70s if I had to guess.
Tyreek,
Although with Garner out, they may have bumped the line.
Raised it.
So let's see where they have his line.
70 plus is pretty nice.
Tyreek, 70 plus, I'm good with. 64.5. Oh yeah, you take that over. 64.5. I'm hammering that.
Yeah, hammer 64.5.
Which this is one you might have to put in now instead of tomorrow morning because
it might change.
You'll probably see that go up about 5 yards. They'll probably have it at like 70.5 tomorrow morning, maybe 72.5.
Yeah,
that'll probably go up.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill hasn't exactly. I don't want to say he hasn't been the player that he was projected to be at the start of this fantasy and regular season. Number 20 ranked wide receiver in fantasy. I think he was definitely impacted by Tua's injury, but
sure.
I like his matchup this week. You mentioned the Sauce Gardner injury. I think kind of just a waving red flag for him or Waddle. Who knows? Now, if you take the over 64.5, this will be the game where Waddle just benefits from.
Even let's see, they have Waddle. They have Waddle at 45.5. Which this is a game that they can both hit that over easily. I think.
They could.
Jets defenses.
Yeah, they could. We shall see.
In Miami too, right? Or is it in New York? In Miami. So they always play well at home too.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if Tyreek goes over 100.
Yeah, 64.5 is a good bet. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that line.
I'll
I like
hammer
that safe line. Don't have to get too crazy with, if it was somewhere around like low 80s, that would have scared me. Or high 70s, but 64.5, come on.
Come on. That's
Come on,
yeah. I mean, if you saw a 64.5 stat line of Tyreek Hill last year, you'd be like, someone in Vegas is smoking crack,
smoking the good stuff.
literally. But yeah, I like that.
208.
I mean, that's
208.
really all I had prepared for matchups and stuff I like. I don't know if you have any other ones you want to touch on.
Not ATM. I already mentioned I do love our survivor locks this week with Tampa Bay money line parlayed with the Titans money line. I know it's kind of cliche to just pick teams that are playing bad teams to win,
Yeah.
especially because the Titans are not that great of a team to begin with. That could be a slight risk there, but we've both been pretty hot on Survivor. I think that we stay hot, and plus 106 odds for Tampa and Tampa Bay and Titans to win. I think it's a pretty solid bet. I'm going to look at some things for the Falcons game, as we mentioned. I love the idea of the Kirk revenge game. So look for any future Instagram locks on there. For anyone interested in that, make sure you follow the gram at Sweet Life Football, right? Sweet Life Football?
Something like that.
Sweet Life Show, Sweet Life
Sweet Life
Football.
Show, Sweet Life Football, something like that.
I think we had one.
I mean, speaking, I mean, I didn't want to say this one, but something to keep in mind here for this one, only because I don't know how the game's going to go.
We never know how the game's going to go.
We never know how it's going to go, but I really don't know how the Vikings Falcons game's going to go. But something to keep in mind is the Vikings have allowed an opposing wide receiver to go for over 100 yards in 6 of the last 9 games.
Have or haven't?
Have.
Oh, God, I love it. I love it for Kirk.
They have Drake London at 71.5.
What about Darnell Mooney?
Darnell Mooney, 53.5.
Oh, Darnell. Let's get Darnell going. Let's get Darnell going.
That's just something to keep in mind. So one of them may pop off. Like I said, I can see this game, Kirk throwing for 350 yards, but I can also see him throwing for like 202 picks. I don't know.
I think it's the former.
I'm hoping it's the former. I would love to see Minnesota lose. Green Bay just lost. Could really use a Minnesota loss here too.
I think Falcons are also due for a win, and Minnesota's got to be due for a loss here soon, man. They played. So yeah, they almost lost the Cardinals. That game came down to the wire, literally the last couple seconds in the fourth.
That's the thing about Minnesota. Minnesota they win a lot of close games, like 1-score games. I think they have like the most since the start of last year.
Yeah, and they're a good team. Good, great coach team. Sam Darnold turning around, probably gonna. You think he's got to be comeback player of the year, right?
I know we talked about coach of the year a few weeks ago. Like I feel like O'Connell. Is that what it is? O'Donnell?
I think I was just about to say Kevin O'Connell.
Right? I think he deserves some recognition there because no one expected this Minnesota team to play as well as it is. And they're 10-2 with a quarterback they, didn't expect to have to be their starter.
Yeah, you were kind of just taking a flyer on and offseason. Oh, okay, pick up Sam, see what happens. And then McCarthy goes down. All right, Sam, let's go. It's a Darnold show now. And he's made it the Darnold show.
Sure. And that defense is playing good. I know, recently they haven't been playing as well as they did early on, but still playing very well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right. One more time before we wrap things up here. Get over to Underdog Fantasy. Use code GETRIGHT for a 50% deposit match up to $2,000. Because who doesn't love some free money? And, of course, we can't leave today without talking about these bad boys.
Oh, no, absolutely
Get a custom ring, custom chain, custom belt, trophy, and plaque. Whatever you decide.
Hell yeah.
Because you know what we say about that belt, Jack?
You go into a bar.
You're leaving with 1. You might leave with 2. Who knows? But if you come with 1, you're leaving with 2.
You might leave with 3.
Let's just say that belt's not keeping your pants up. That's all I got to say.
It's keeping those pants down.
All right. Well, that's about all we got for today, guys. Go enjoy some college football, and we'll see you next week.
Hook 'em.
Wanted to write fantasy is the play, marking off and